Good evening, everyone. I'm Dominus Orbis, and today I'm going to be installing VirtualBox 5.0.24, installing the Ubuntu flavor of my choice, which is Lubuntu, but you can choose your own. Going to network the operating system with a local area network using a bridged network interface card in VirtualBox. Going to verify connectivity via ping and transfer a file using the secure copy protocol. So the main idea of this tutorial is pretty much just to set up a virtual LAN using Oracle's VirtualBox. So let's begin. Here I've already typed in Google, just to go to virtualbox.org, go to downloads, and choose the download for your machine. I have a Windows machine, so I'm going to click on this blue link here. Save, and I've already saved it to my desktop here, so no need for me to do that. Then we're going to install VirtualBox. Just double click on the executable, click run, and just follow the prompts. It's really simple. Just use all the defaults. You might want to change where you're actually installing it, what library you're going to install it in. I have 4 or 5 hard drives, so I just install all of my software on a specific hard drive, so you can change the location of that. So I'm not going to install it. Just follow the prompts. It's really basic. Once you have that installed, go ahead and just go back into Google, type in Ubuntu flavors, click on this first link here, and there are lots of different versions of Ubuntu. My favorite is actually Xubuntu, but since I already have that installed in my virtual machine, I'm going to install Lubuntu, which is lightweight. It's for desktop or PCs that don't have a lot of processing power. Okay, so click on the link, and you can use the torrent. So torrents aren't always for downloading pirated documents or files. You can use them for open source as well. So you can do 64-bit or 32-bit. I've got a 64-bit machine, so I'll click on, and you can get a CD in the mail, believe it or not, or you can just download the torrent. Click on download torrent, and my BitTorrent client pops up. It's over here. I've already downloaded it, so close that out. And we're done with the internet part of it right now. Okay, so you're going to open up VirtualBox. Right here, as you can see, I have several virtual machines already installed. Windows and a bunch of Linux. And I have Xubuntu running and Kali Linux running. That's a really popular thing for Raspberry Pi. So I just want to learn how to use it well. I recommend you do the same. First thing we're going to do is new. Click on the new button. And it's Lubuntu 64-bit. Okay. You can do the expert mode, but just the simplest thing, click next. Next. 2 gigs of RAM. It's a lightweight. We don't need that much RAM. Next. Create virtual hard disk now. Just leave it default. Create. VDI, virtual disk image. Just leave it at default. Next. Dynamically allocated hard disk. That's fine. Let's leave it at default. Next. I like the name. Here I'm going to give it 20 gigs for my hard disk. And click on this folder here. This is where you're going to save the VDI, virtual disk image. And I already have a folder for this. As you can see, here's my virtual machines. It's a 16.04 release, the long-term release, the newest one. Hit save. Hit create. Now, before we install the image that we downloaded off the torrent, we need to right-click here, go to Settings, and on the General tab, click on Advanced. This is for shared clipboard, so you can copy-paste between your machines. Want a drag and drop. Also, bi-directional. On the network, you can use NAT, and it'll get its IP address from your router, from your ISP. It'll be a random private IP range, but I like to use the bridged adapter. All of these machines over here are bridged together under the same LAN, so they can talk to each other. And it uses your network interface card of your computer. And if you have more than one, then you can choose which one. I only have one. That tap is for a VPN I have. So I'm going to use the bridged. It'll still get the IP address from my router, from my ISP, but now it's going to be within the same range as all these other machines, so they'll be able to communicate with one another. Double click on. This is asking where is the image. Okay? Sorry, this folder is very messy. These are all the images that I downloaded and played around with. Lubuntu, right there. Double click, hit start, and we're off to the races. Just going to do English. I want to go ahead and install it. Let's look at our task while it's doing this. Okay, we're finished with one. We installed VirtualBox. We're finished with two. Well, we're doing two right now. It shouldn't take long. If it does take long, then I'll go ahead and fast forward this part. Okay, I was going to fast forward it, but it already popped up. Here's some commands you might want to write down, save in a text file. Okay, here we go. English works for me. Normally I would do this, download the updates and install third-party software, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I'll just do that later. But you would want to do that. You would want to click both those boxes. Continue. Okay. So you can create a partition here, you can encrypt your operating system, you can set up a logical volume management and take snapshots to repartition it later and resizing them. So it has a lot of options. I'm just going to leave it at erase disk and install Ubuntu. That's the default. Doesn't really matter because it's a virtual hard disk anyways. If it were an actual physical hard disk or an SSD, then yeah, you want to pay attention to that. I'm in the Chicago time zone. Okay. It's a Dallas, but I guess we're not a big enough city to make it on the NTP servers. You can do US international with dead keys, which will allow you to type in Spanish like that. I don't know if you are bilingual. I am, but I'm just going to leave it in English for now. If I want to add that later, I can. Continue. You can encrypt your home folder, require my password login, which I do like, or log in automatically. I don't like that one. Continue. So as I said earlier, Lubuntu is pretty much the Ubuntu flavor. It's a lightweight, so it's really good for old machines or laptops. Obviously, you can get on the web. LibreOffice. It's like OpenOffice. It's open source. Kind of like a Microsoft Suite. Has a music player. Players. I use a VLC. It can play pretty much any codec, video or audio. And then Pigeon, that's a pretty cool app. Kind of just like a messaging app. You can do talk with your friends and whatnot. Okay. And then the cool thing about Linux in general is there's a bunch of repositories that you can install first party coming straight from the developer, which in this case would be Lubuntu, or Ubuntu that is, or third party made by other programmers. So you can download some really cool stuff. And there's a really big community. It's been alive and well for many, many years. You can seek help if you don't understand what's going on or if you need to do something specific. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and I'll be right back. You want to open up a terminal under System Tools. Going to change directory, go ahead and go to the desktop. present working directory, desktop. Okay, no files there. Now we need to install openssh-client and server right here. Oh, first let's follow our list here. Remind me later. Okay. Network operating system with LAN. Okay. ifconfig. Looks like my IP is 192.168.1.12. I have two other virtual machines right here running, Ubuntu and Kali Linux. .12. And as you can see, it's talking already. It's receiving packets because they're using the same address range from the bridged adapter, as I showed you whenever you click settings and then you go to network bridged adapter. So they're under the same IP range. Okay, so now we've completed steps 1, 2, and 3. Verify connectivity via ping. Also 4. Now we need to install secure copy. Actually, it's already installed. We need to install openssh-client, secure shell, and server. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to allow us to be able to transfer files using secure copy. Of course, before you do this in real life, you want to update your distro, your distribution, to the most current state. I closed a pop-up that just asked me about that, but you can do that later. The secure copy protocol works over the secure shell. So we need to make sure that service is in fact started by using service SSH status to confirm its status, and then starting it if it's not started. And it's already open. Okay, now I already have a file here in my Ubuntu. And it says SCP file transfer from Ubuntu. Okay, how do I transfer that to my Ubuntu? Easy. The command is scp, whatever the name of the file, the host name of the remote user, @ symbol, the IP address of the remote user, and colon, and the directory where you want to transfer it. You have to actually type out yes. 100%. Transferred. Let's go to my Ubuntu machine. And there it is. Done. So, you've seen how to network several virtual machines using a local area network with a bridged adapter via VirtualBox. installing the Ubuntu flavor of your choice, and transfer a file using secure copy. So, once again, my name is Dominus Orbis. I hope this video has been informative, and I want to thank you for viewing.